Davy Spillane, born 6 January 1959 in Dublin, is an Irish musician, songwriter and a player of uilleann pipes and low whistle. Biography: Irish music. At the age of 12, Spillane started playing the uilleann pipes. His father encouraged him and inspired him with his love of all music genres. For the next 3 years he played at sessions and met many prominent Irish musicians. At the age of 16, he played in Ireland, the United Kingdom and Europe. In 1978 he began to write his own music. He starred as a gypsy in Joe Comerford's 1981 film Traveller, Moving Hearts and solo albums. He was a founder member of Moving Hearts, along with Christy Moore and Donal Lunny in 1981. Although each member had a strong pedigree of Irish folk music, the band played mostly original compositions, sometimes with a political edge and a folk rock sound. Their final album, The Storm, 1985, was purely instrumental and had several slower pieces written by Spillane. He then made the surprise move of joining up with American musicians uilleann Fleck, Albert Lee and others to record a Davy Spillane debut album of his new compositions and bluegrass and original blues. Atlantic Bridge. There was a promotional touring band which also recorded Out of the Air in 1988, essentially a live version of Atlantic Bridge. Spillane then gathered together a new set of musicians, including Rory Gallagher and Kevin Glackin, to record Shadow Hunter, an album of various rock and folk styles. This was followed by Pipe Dreams in 1991. Collaborations. Spillane played as special guest soloist in orchestral work in 1992 called The Seville Suite, describing events in 1601 in Irish-Spanish history. Bill Whelan then worked for Spillane and Andy Irvine on the music album Eastwind. In 1993, Spillane collaborated with Canadian artists such as Bryan Adams, MTV Unplugged, Daniel Weaver on his album Weeds as well, and Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. In 1994, Spillane was a special guest soloist in Riverdance. Spillane also collaborated with Rory Gallagher on the tracks The Road to Ballyella, Lytton Lane, and One for Phil, as well as with Enya on her 1988 watermark tracks Exile and Na. Letha Glmoig. Film music. In 1992, Spillane composed music for Peter Kosminski's film Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights and, in 1995, reached a larger audience with the film Rob Roy. Other compositions and guesting includes Kate Bush's Sensual World, 1989, Mike Oldfield's Voyager, 1996, Bryan Adams's MTV Unplugged, Van Morrison and Elvis Costello. Other films include Eat the Peach and The Disappearance of Finbar. Paul Winter's album Journey with the Sun, 2002. Spillane was awarded a Grammy and also nominated for second one. Spillane served his apprenticeship with pipe makers Dan Dowd and Johnny Bork and now makes all his own instruments. In 2000, he recorded his only album of traditional tunes with Kevin Glackin, entitled Forgotten Days. Discography: Moving Hearts, 1981, Dark End of the Street, 1982, The Storm, 1985, Live Hearts, 1986, recorded 1983, Live in Dublin, 2008, solo albums, Atlantic Bridge, 1987, Out of the Air, 1988, Shadow Hunter, 1990, Pipe Dreams, 1991, A Place Among the Stones, 1994, The Sea of Dreams, 1998, Forgotten Days, 2001, Deep Blue Sea, 2004, Between Longing and Belonging, 2016, Collaborations, Eastwind, 1992, with Andy Irvine, Calman the Dove, 1998, with Savannah Stevenson, Forgotten Days, 2001, with Kevin Glacken. Contributions: The Pipers Rock, a compilation of young pipers. Various artists: Uilleann Pipes, The Heritage Tapes, Songs and Stories from Old Tiger Bay. Various artists: Celtic Themes. Various artists: Uilleann Pipes, Irish Festival. Various artists: 1980, Uilleann Pipes on the Old Bush, Rakish Paddy. My Very Favourite Nursery Rhyme Record. Tim Hart. 1981, Uilleann Pipes, The Drunken Sailor and Other Kids' Favourites. Tim Hart. 1983, Uilleann Pipes, Inarticulate Speech of the Heart. Van Morrison. 1983, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Now and Then. The Sands Family. 1986, Low Whistle on When the Music Starts to Play. Classic Irish Ballads. Diarmuid O'Leary and the Bards. 1986, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Dancing with Strangers. Chris Rea. 1987, Uilleann Pipes, Low Whistle and Guitar. Under the Influence. Mary Coughlan. 1987, Uilleann Pipes, Guru On. Best of. Featuring Donal Lunny, Davy Spillane, Jim O'Rourke. Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Watermark. Enya. 1988, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. North and South. Jerry Rafferty. 1988, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Dublin Millennium Song. Single. Various artists. 1988, Uilleann Pipes, We've Come a Long Way. Liam Clancy, Tommy McKem. 1989, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. The Sensual World. Kate Bush. 1989, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Ogham. 1989, Fearless composed by Davy Spillane. Winds of Change. Oisin, Geraldine McGowan and Anne Conroy. 1989, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Spike. Elvis Costello. 1989, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Elio Samaga Hukop and Kariana Turu. Elio Ela Story Tease. 1989, Uilleann Pipes, Brand New Dance. Emmylou Harris. 1990, Uilleann Pipes, This Rhythm. T. Oxala. 1990, Uilleann Pipes, Hopes and Bodies. The Senators. 1990, Uilleann Pipes, The Sweet Keeper. Tanita Tikaram. 1990, Low Whistle on It All Came Back Today. Sojourner's Song. Buddy Green. 1990, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Vigil in a Wilderness of Mirrors. Fish. 1990, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle on Vigil. Put EM Under Pressure. Single. Republic of Ireland Football Squad. 1990, Two Rooms. Celebrating the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin. 1991, Uilleann Pipes on Kate Bush. Rocket Man. Mighty Like a Rose. Elvis Costello. 1991, Uilleann Pipes, Mission Street. Kieran Halpin. 1991, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Rude Awakening. Andy Irvin. 1991, Smoke and Strong Whiskey. Christy Moore. 1991, Low Whistle. The Ways of the World. Mary Costiano and O'Neill. 1991, Uilleann Pipes, Lamb Toro. Barbara Marl. 1992, Uilleann Pipes, High on the Happy Side. Wet Wet Wet. 1992, Low Whistle on Put the Light On. Soul Inspiration. Simon Climie. 1992, Low Whistle. Rita Connolly. 1992, Low Whistle. Something Special in the Air. Single. For Impact 92. Derry City Council. 1992, Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Sentimental Killer. Mary Coughlan. 1992, Uilleann Pipes, Harmony. London Beat. 1992, Low Whistle on Harmony and the Sea of Tranquility. Barjo El Signor de Cane. Miguel Bose. 1993. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Again. Alan Stivell. 1993. Uilleann pipes. Before and after. Tim Finn. 1993. Uilleann pipes on Many's the Time. Solid Ground. Dolores Keane. 1993. Uilleann pipes. Espresso Logic. Chris Rea. 1993. Uilleann pipes. Far From Home. Traffic. 1994. Uilleann pipes on Holy Ground. Traditional music in support of Dublin Coast and Cliff Rescue Service. Various artists. 1994. Uilleann pipes. 33 revolutions per minute. Marksman. 1994. Whistles. Daniel Weaver. Daniel Weaver. 1994. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Complicidodes. Luis Represes. 1994. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. A River of Sound. The Changing Course of Irish Music. BBC, RTE programme. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Seville Suite. Bill Whelan. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Folk Music Ensemble. Dan Foyle. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Cry of a Dreamer. Sean Terrell. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. An Inexperienced Man. Gary Kemp. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Misty-Eyed Adventures. Moya Brennan. 1995. Low whistle. See above. Transatlantic Sessions, Series 1. Various artists. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Arabesque. Mike Batt. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Riverdance. Music from the show. Bill Whelan. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Songs from A Secret Garden. Secret Garden. 1996. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Volume 1. Sound Magic. Afro-Celt Sound System. 1996. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Voyager. Mike Oldfield. 1996. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Hammer. Zoe. 1996. Uilleann pipes on The Lion Roars. Al Vivo No CCB. Luis Represes. 1996. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Common Ground. Various artists. 1996. Low whistle on Whistling Low. Eric All. Mary of the South Season on Raglan Road. White Stones. Secret Garden. 1997. Uilleann pipes. Killam. Nicola Peroff. 1997. Uilleann pipes. What Did He Say? Victor Wooten. 1997. Uilleann pipes. Illumination. Richard Souther. Hildegard von Bingen. 1997. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Gospel Oak. Sinead O'Connor. 1997. Low and high whistle. Amara. Island Currents. Joe Bosky. 1997. Low whistle on the Delphi Air. Labyrinto Volume 2. Miguel Bose. 1997. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Argal and Igor. Single. Annie Ebrel. 1997. On Fest VRAZ Musique Bretons. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Unplugged. Brian Adams. 1997. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Sun and the Moon and the Stars. Spirit of Eden. 1998. Uilleann pipes. The Peace Within. BMC Band. 1998. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Wandering Home. David Lynch. 1998. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Piece of Cake. Lubos Molina. 1999. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Celtic Solstice. Paul Winter. 1999. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. New Freedom Bell. Druga Trevor. 1999. Low whistle. The Orchard. Sean Terrell. 1999. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Album recorded at Burrenstone Studios. Streams. Various artists. 1999. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Live at Slane Castle. DVD. Bryan Adams. 2000. Low whistle. Journey with the Sun. Paul Winter. 2000. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Irvi. Denez Progent. 2000. Uilleann pipes. Dreamcatcher. Secret Garden. 2001. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Adiamus Volume 4. Carl Jenkins. 2001. Uilleann pipes on the Eternal Knot. Girls Won't Leave the Boys Alone. Cherish the Ladies. 2001. Uilleann pipes. The Best of Mary Black 1991 to 2001. Mary Black. 2001. Uilleann pipes. Unearthed. Posthumous. 2001. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. 12 Vox. The Way to Be Ourselves. Taro Iwashiro. 2001. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Kyol Taxi. Various artists. 2003. Uilleann pipes and low whistle on Muladach's Mia Menol with Karen Matheson. Spyorad. The Liz Morahorn Singers. 2003. Uilleann pipes. The River Returning. Johnny Doohan. 2003. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Sexual Healing. Single B-side. Kate Bush. 2005. Uilleann pipes. Grief Never Grows Old. Single. One World Project. 2005. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Silver Solstice. Paul Winter Consort and Friends. 2005. Uilleann pipes. Human Child. Maniban. Ivor. 2007. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. To the Moon. Kapakali. 2008. Tracks from Rob Roy. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Art of Chill 5. Bent. 2008. Uilleann pipes on Pipe Groove. Distant Shore. Orla Fallon. 2009. Low whistle. This Is What I Live For. Richard Anthony J. 2009. Uilleann pipes and low whistle on Gone But Not Forgotten. A Different Hat. Paul Carrick. 2010. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Dream of You. Sharon Core. 2010. Low whistle on Cooley's Reel. Director's Cut. Kate Bush. 2011. Uilleann pipes and low whistle on Flower of a Mountain. Lament. Various artists. 2012. Low whistle on Lament for the Dead of the North. The Peacemakers. Carl Jenkins. 2012. Uilleann pipes. Transparent Music 2. B. J. Cole. 2012. Low whistle. Papichu. Miguel Bose. 2012. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Goodbye. Single. Mary Jane Riemann. 2013. Uilleann pipes. Man on the Rocks. Mike Oldfield. 2014. Low whistle on Moonshine. Whiskey Lullabies. Suantrai Maishul. Single. Janet Devlin. 2015. Low whistle on Suantrai Maishul. Drowning. Single. Simone K. Date unknown. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Creation. Johnny Doohan. 2016. Low whistle on The Three Temptations. Source. Afro-Celt Sound System. 2016. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Soundtracks. Lamb. 1985. Eat the Peach. 1986. Reefer and the Model. 1988. The Ballad of the Sad Cafe. 1991. Low whistle. Wuthering Heights. 1992. Rob Roy. 1995. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Michael Collins. 1996. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. The Disappearance of Finbar. 1996. Titanic. 1997. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Xenogears. With Yasunori Mitsuda. 1998. Low whistle. Creed. With Yasunori Mitsuda. 1998. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Dancing at Lufnasa. 1998. Uilleann pipes and low whistle. Excalibur. La Légende du Celtes. Various artists. 1999. Aoi tilde Tokugawa Sandai. Taro Iwashiro. 2000. Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Zeno Zaga. 2002. Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Gangs of New York. 2002. Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Graal. Catherine Lara. 2005. Uilleann Pipes and Low Whistle. Notes. Official website. Davy Spillane at the Internet Movie Database.